let's now talk a bit about how companies can get more comfortable in articulating that value,
Mhm.
how they can unlock that as a result of transforming the way in which they're leveraging data. And you talked a little bit about that, but
Mhm.
share a little of your view on the best processes for identifying, quantifying the data product opportunities that really result in what everyone's so thirsty for, which is the tangible balance sheet improvements. And any view you have on the specific improvements that you're seeing being leveraged across industrial manufacturing.
So anytime we have a conversation on data, the very first thing we like to do is recenter it on the value. And that is, again, like I mentioned before, centering the business value and connecting that to the data strategy. So data strategy and business strategy should be unified around what are we trying to accomplish. We have 10 value levers that we often use for our clients, regardless of sector or domain. And those include things like cost reduction, workforce refactoring, operational excellence, data-driven support, simplification of technology, and shortening time to insights. So the general recommendation is pick two. When you're pursuing the use of data as a strategic asset, pick two value levers and ensure that, number one, you can quantify where you are today. And number two, for this particular data product, how do I expect to impact those value levers and make it quantitative? So that can be done in several ways. Number one is obviously doing the analysis of the way the current state is running. The second way is to also have directional indication from the market or from competition. So, we have access to a lot of data resources. Many organizations are paying for data subscriptions and intelligence that tell them about how other organizations are using data. So we create a rubric, essentially, and KPMG Elevate is a very important part of how we do value determination for many things. If we dial that in, we look at what does the data supply chain look like, or the data value chain. So we would look at it and say, what is current state? What do we anticipate is the lift and the value levers for this particular data product? Who are the consumers? And how much effort do we anticipate it will take to get the data prepared to be useful for that, the data utility? So when we do it in a very methodical way, in a very quantitative way, it gives executive leadership that might be the ones responsible for approving a program the data that they need. I expect my ROI to be affected in this way. I expect my EBITDA to be affected this way, or my customer acquisition score will improve by X if we make these changes to the way we're doing that data. I think that you'll see participants from many different groups. The personas that are involved in this team sport of data there are really important. Is it procurement? Is it finance? Is it warranty? Is it suppliers? Who are we trying to influence? Making that assessment quantitatively so that a very clear understanding of the level of effort it takes to get the right data is known before you even start. And then definitely for industrial manufacturing, with the technology changing so quickly, I think there's also that strong influence, but there's also global disruption. So, we're looking at, if you have a major supply chain disruption, that might not be a normal activity, but when a spike like that happens, what are the data products that immediately can be put into action to be a countermeasure? So I want to make sure we're clear that while there is a strategic focus on identifying value, you have to be prepared to be nimble, particularly in industrial manufacturing, with data products, on the shelf, ready to go, that can be activated quickly when you need to respond to an urgent item.